Hello, welcome to the One Life Church devotional series where we cover the entire Bible in 20 months. Well, today's chapters are Numbers 29 and 30. And in Numbers 30, we deal with the subject of authority. Now, you can see where I am seated today. This is a B&B in the heart of Ladysmith. Last night, we broke down on the freeway. A faulty part had been installed into my vehicle, and it gave way at a wrong time, wrong place. Anyway, this was the only place we could find last night, and you can see all our stuff. We en route to Cape Town. We've got a massive carload full of stuff. We've got canoes on top, and we stuck. But things have worked out well, and let me tell you why. I took my car to a garage yesterday, and that mechanic had come under the covering of an insurance company. So in other words, if he made a bad decision or if he did some workmanship that caused a customer to spend a lot of money, he would be covered. He came under the authority of and the covering of an insurance company. So when this story all unraveled and it was discovered that a faulty part had been put into my vehicle, and there are consequences, there are huge consequences. There's this bill for this B&B. There's the towing cost last night. There's the new part that has to go in. My car's at a garage in Ladysmith today. It's covered because his decision, his workmanship, came under the covering of that insurance company. Now, chapter 30 is about our conduct under authority. And so it goes something like this. If a man makes decisions and makes vows, God holds him responsible. But if his daughter living in his house makes those decisions and the man says, I absolve her of all responsibility, she wasn't thinking correctly when she made those decisions, she's absolved. She comes under the covering of her dad. The same applies in this context to a woman who's under authority of her husband. If she makes a vow, she makes a bad decision, and he nullifies it, she's excused. Unfortunately, for the widow and for the divorcee, on their own, they fall into the same category as the bloke. And so, in other words, if he makes a vow, he makes a bad decision, there's no one to cover. There's no one to cover it for her. And so, the principle there is one of authority. If you are under authority, you have the protection of that authority. Now, what does that mean for you and for me? Well, supreme authority lies in God himself. And he has entrusted all authority on earth to his son, Jesus. And what God has done in churches, he's put pastors with authority. In families, he's put parents with authority. In countries, he's put governments with authority. And the Bible teaches that we're to come under authority. When we're under authority, we are protected. And when we're under authority, the world functions as God intended it to function. And so you can explore those. You might think, well, that sounds like a very patriarchal society. God hasn't put authority structures in place for people to lord it over each other, but to protect them. And so that's what that chapter is about. Chapter 29 is again a reflection on the three big festivals, the Festival of Trumpets, the Day of Atonement, and the Feast of Tabernacles. They all happen at a similar time, end of September, beginning of October. And basically, chapter 29 is describing the sacrifices that are necessary at those particular feasts. And as we pointed out when we looked at these particular festivals in the earlier books of the Bible, is that they point to Jesus. Jesus atones for our sin. The trumpets are signaling the return of Jesus one day. And the Festival of Tabernacles is a reminder of our temporary nature here on earth as we, celebrate God as our Lord, taking us through on this journey to an eternity with him. Anyway, I trust as you read these chapters, God ministers to you. God bless.